Manners is a subconscious thing nobody really pays attention to until they're gone. And judging by the conversation happening online, they're gone.
Our generation has forgotten how to socialize and how to have basic common courtesy.
I'm so glad my parents taught me manners, because I realize more and more every day how many people just genuinely don't know how to have manners.
I feel like our generation has literally lost all sense of manners, and it's time to reel it back in.
And the other places people are noticing it the most are the places we have to share with each other, like movie theaters and stores. And today, stepping into those shared spaces is starting to feel like a gamble, because those unspoken, unwritten rules society used to agree on are now being rewritten or just flat out ignored. We've reached a point where people are starting to treat public spaces like their own living room, or maybe I should say their own toilet.
When I tell you, I literally saw an audience member piss on the floor. And listen, we don't know people's stories. We don't know, like, he must have really had to go to the bathroom, but like on the floor? Like on the auditorium floor?
And people have collectively had enough. So much so that some are even begging to bring back public shame.
There needs to be a system in place to punish people for behaving poorly in public.
We need to bring back public shaming, because I think a lot of people kind of bank on the fact that nobody is going to call them out for their bad behavior when they are around other people. And so they do things that are really and they don't expect anybody to call them out.
And that bad behavior that no one seems to be calling out is starting to point to a bigger pattern people are realizing. Basic respect is starting to feel a little less basic.
Y'all want to know the easiest way to piss me off is to not have manners. It's like as the years go on, y'all just get worse.
In today's video, we're gonna see what happens when a whole society decides they're tired of putting on a performance for everyone else, and how protecting your peace has ruined the peace for the rest of us. Welcome to the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed. Now, I'm not saying you have to subscribe. You're classy. I know you don't just give those away for free, but hopefully at the end of this video, we become bestie enough for you to take that next step. This public disorderedness didn't happen overnight, and it stands out so much because public spaces used to operate under a completely different set of rules. Now, I could sit here and say they were strict back in the day, but strict and aware are two different things. And all people back in the day were doing was just being aware of the entire system that would fall apart if no one else participated. They were just conforming to what made society run as normal.
Cities are built of something that's far more important than steel and brick and stone. What holds a city together is a need which all men have. The need for living together with their fellow men, sharing their work, helping each other, enjoying their friendships and their companionship. And since people must depend upon one another, they have built up ways through the ages of getting along together.
And back then, conforming to society's rules was not optional. Following them was just what was expected if you wanted to be a functioning member of the community. So if you decided to break those basic rules or act out, you instantly became the problem.
Fit in with the group. Don't stand out. Conform in your actions and your appearance.
If you misbehaved, you weren't normal. And the idea of normal is a kind of vegetative state where nothing happens. But that's what everybody tried to aspire to.
It was really just about making sure you stayed in line with everyone else and making sure you were normal just like everyone else. And it might be a random example, but it reminded me a lot of this.
SpongeBob?
Hi, how are you?
What's the meaning of this?
I took your advice. From now on, I'm normal.
Normal, huh?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Whatever. I know you're just waiting to say something stupid.
Wonderful weather we're having.
This gives us a look into that robotic nature and the polite pleasantries people back in the day had to follow. The way you acted and presented yourself in public was never just about you. It was about how it affected others too. And the idea of being aware of how you show up, that doesn't just apply to public spaces either. Sometimes it applies to responsibilities, priorities, and things we procrastinate, like finding a doctor, because somehow one of the most important decisions in our lives feels like a guessing game. Thankfully, this video is sponsored by ZocDoc. Instead of guessing, ZocDoc is a free platform that lets you search over 150,000 providers and instantly book an appointment with the right doctor for you. They have detailed doctor profiles with tons of verified patient reviews, so you actually know who you're booking. I really needed something like this because y'all don't know how many times I have booked a doctor and they just weren't my cup of tea, and then on top of that I had to wait weeks for the next appointment. So I think the biggest flex with ZocDoc is that you don't have to wait weeks for an available appointment, because most visits happen between 24 to 72 hours. And my favorite part is that they don't just offer one form of healthcare. As someone with chronic eczema, it is so amazing that they offer 200 plus specialties from mental health, dental, eye care, skincare, and more. Don't wait on your health. By just clicking the link in the description, you're already one step closer to prioritizing it. Head to www.zocdoc.com/Janae to find a top-rated doctor that fits you today. Thank you, ZocDoc, for sponsoring today's video. I think the core of this is that in the past, people were constantly taking cues from each other on how to behave. That's also why everyone looked and acted so much alike. Individuality was a sign you were failing to do your part within the public.
Everybody has substantial income, and every man comes home from his work about 5 o'clock, comes home, 2 kids maybe, 2 cars maybe some house pets. He'll come into his house and he'll say hello to all his kids. And this is all the same almost throughout all Webster. Everybody comes out in step, and they're all dressed the same, and they all have the same ideas, and they teach each other that what to think, what not to think, and how to dress, and just what to do.
Now, if you're wondering, Janae, how do manners, public etiquette, and lack of individuality all correlate? Well, manners were just the common language, the common ground everyone used to keep things moving and functioning smoothly. If you didn't have that, you stood out. And back then, standing out was the one thing you were taught not to do, because the way you behaved was the only way to get people to accept you.
A well-mannered group, aren't they? You notice their good manners right away. Good manners make good first impressions. And because your manners are showing all the time, they have a lot to do with how well people like you.
If we listen closely to what the narrator said, your manners are showing all the time, and they have a lot to do with how people like you. Basically meaning your value as a person was directly tied to how much of your own ego you were willing to put aside just to make another person comfortable. And it was taught that looking inward or prioritizing your own feelings was a flaw.
He can't go to the formal. Perhaps Marie should include him more. Give him some attention.
Like my dress? Okay, I guess. Won't be many years before you're going to a formal.
Marie concentrated on her brother instead of on herself, and the result was a better personality. So, to improve your personality, concentrate on the other person. Find out how to satisfy the other person's motives.
And sure, something like this can be seen as selfishness, which is a quality everyone should strive for. But I can imagine it made a lot of people almost feel out of tune with themselves, turning every interaction people had into basically a performance. But to keep everyone on track, society had guidelines and rule books to follow, and it kept society running so that people would feel comfortable around each other.
Oh, that's right, you had him out, didn't you?
A cheerful greeting for friends you meet, an inquiry about their welfare, and everyone feels more at ease. That's what good manners do. They make everyone feel at ease.
May I have some toast, please?
Yes, dear.
Thank you.
May I? Please? Thank you. These are words of respect. Words that make day-to-day living go smoothly.
Now, I'm not showing you these videos to knock basic manners, like saying good morning, please, and thank you. I'm showing you the steps that were required for every single interaction. It's basically the, hi, how are you? Wonderful weather we're having. All over again. This is much deeper than back in the day people had manners. That they did. But we're uncovering how back in the day, the way those manners worked was by training you to prioritize everyone else's comfort.
Speak in low, full tones so that what you say will be pleasing and appealing to the ear. Don't let your voice be high, shrill, and unpleasant just because you're a little excited. Keep it low and pleasing.
Yes, having to control your emotions and personality to please others, that doesn't sound very appealing today. But having that control was a sacrifice most people in society understood, because acting out of order would cause disorder. I think you see where I'm getting at. There's something we need to tap into, and that is system cooperation and coordination. And to get a better understanding of how this system worked, we could take a quick look at the sidewalk, a basic way to get from point A to B while also accommodating everyone else.
It's a simple enough matter to give people you meet plenty of room to pass. Good manners again, and they put you in a good light. Walking slowly, keeping to the right. More good manners.
And sure, everything might have looked boring or normal, we could say, but it worked, and it was seen just as important as the law.
Our laws are one way of doing this. But just as important as laws are the rules and usages of courtesy and consideration, which we call good manners. They come naturally where people have a high regard for each other. Wherever you go, you'll always find that good manners keep things running smoothly.
Society lived like this for a long time, moving within the right lane, prioritizing the predictable flow of the group. But eventually, that predictability started to clash with something else, the desire to be seen as an individual.
The 1950s were a decade of rigid social conformity. People were expected to look, talk, act, and think like everybody else. It was only a matter of time before that cracked up. In the 1960s, faced with an unpopular war that they were told not to criticize, a significant segment of the younger generation rebelled against their parents, their communities, and their government.
Here's where things started falling apart, not necessarily in a bad way, but the rise of individuality seemed like a great shift for the individual, yes, but for society, that might have started raising some concerns.
The 1960s was an era of rebellion. Most of those who rebelled were young. And although they were a minority of their generation, their numbers were sufficient, their beliefs so strong, and their behavior so challenging that many mainstream Americans saw them as a significant threat to the nation's morals, manners, and values.
Something like this made a lot of people panic. They were looking at the younger generation stepping out of line, and they viewed this new celebrating yourself movement as basically forgetting about everyone else. But people just wanted the freedom to be themselves.
By the late 60s, the idea of self-exploration was spreading rapidly in America. Encounter groups became the center of what was seen as a radical alternative culture based on the development of the self, free of a corrupt capitalist culture.
We just want the freedom to be ourselves.
So, by the late 1960s, people were tired of acting like a robot just to make the world spin. It was the rise of self, loving yourself, and learning about yourself. This was the era of rebellion, where we started to see people choosing to be over whatever society told them not to be. The corrupt capitalist culture was making people miserable. It was rinse and repeat, commuting to the same 9 to 5, living in the same suburbs, having to control your tongue or your emotions no matter how outspoken or angry you were. And pretty soon, everyone wanted in on this new way of thinking, where hundreds of people would gather and learn more about the person they've been staring at in the mirror.
Erhard had invented a system called EST, Erhard Seminar Training. Hundreds of people came for weekend sessions to be taught how to be themselves.
It started out as a way to fix how we felt inside, but we could also say it ended up also changing how we acted outside too. This isn't me saying people found themselves and they stopped saying please and thank you. No, individuality was, hate to say it because it was needed, but it was the rebellion that eventually led to people not knowing how to act outside. Because at the end of the day, how we treat the community comes right back down to the basic lessons we were taught at birth.
Most people around the world are raised with the idea that they will need to contribute to a group, that they will be part of a group and interdependent on their members. And it affects the way people behave. Other parts of the world, especially the Western world, we raise our children to be independent and to be self-sufficient. And we create a certain independence in society. And it changes behaviors. You see the difference?
So now we're moving into the shift. Now we're seeing how teaching people individuality, it isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when the focus shifts entirely to yourself, we can't be surprised when the community stops being a priority and in turn forgets the standards that actually make the group function in the first place, like basic respect for one another.
But the truth is that if you want to be part of a society, then you do actually owe people quite a few things. We owe each other respect, basic care, decency, communication, and just humanity.
And it could be the case that most people didn't lose basic respect for a stranger or for the public, but protecting their peace became a lot more rewarding than worrying about making someone else feel good. It became a choice between being polite to a stranger or just keeping it real.
So another reason is also due to the fact that Gen Z is just not used to small talk. They're just not used to small talk and having to do the, hey, how are you? How's the weather thing? Like that's just not something that they're as used to and as exposed to. And I think Gen Z is just in a position where they don't want to fake it. They don't want to fake who they are and fake being nice and fake pleasantries just so that way they can be palatable.
Now, of course, there's a lot of building blocks between the conformity of the past and the Gen Z stare. We have decades of people slowly dropping the act. We could look at the 90s with the huge boom of portable headphones, which then aligned great with that sarcastic, anti-establishment attitude. And then into the late 2000s, 2010s, where cell phones became the perfect shield to avoid eye contact and small talk. And it just seemed like from there, we were finding even more ways to choose ourselves and disconnect from the space we're sharing with other people. And the things that the generation did before us, they started to feel performative and fake, especially in the one establishment where you basically have to be performative for a living wage.
I hate that I can't just come to work and do the job. I have to come to work and perform. Why do I have to talk to my boss and laugh at her jokes? Why do I have to say hi to everybody and say, how are you? And say, I'm good. And then say, oh, are you good? And like, ugh.
So now everything should be coming full circle for you. It started with people acting like robots to keep the peace. It shifted into people dropping the act to find their own peace. And now we're stuck in a world that has no peace left for the rest of us. We could chalk it up to society becoming ruder or maybe just not being aware of their surroundings at all. It could be either or both. But it's like people are so focused on themselves and what's best for them that they don't think hey, maybe I should be considerate to the people around me too. Maybe I should at least try to make small talk with the person trying right in front of me.
I'm at the gas station right now paying for my gas, and the two people in front of me in line got asked by the guy at the register, "How was your Thanksgiving?" Both people, head in their phones, looking down, go, "It was good, man, thanks," and they walk out, and the guy just looked like the most sad person on earth when nobody would give him the time of day. Where did we go wrong as a society to not even talk for 3 to 5 seconds to a stranger and make their day?
And to a lot of the youngins, it probably sounds very boomer-esque, very old-timey to say, but maybe we should bring back acknowledging the person in front of us instead of looking at our phones when we're in a room full of people. Let's at least give a head nod or a slight smile when we pass a stranger on the street. It's the small things that make outside a bit more comfortable, but sadly, things like that are treated like an invasion of privacy.
She's run all over in a minute.
It's true. It's true.
She's just running deep, and then pretty soon she's gonna running down your leg, running down your arm.
People will try to talk to me because it looks like I haven't got earphones in, but I do. It's very frustrating. Don't talk to me, please.
When a stranger walks up and talks to your baby.
You're beautiful. She's exquisite. This is sparkling water. She owns a little baby face.
And nothing irks my nerves more than when people treat public spaces where interactions are bound to happen like human interaction is some kind of inconvenience. Yes, I understand speaking to people in public is becoming less common. I don't know, maybe it's because I stay in the South and people will literally pull a conversation out of thin air. They speak, they say good morning, it's actually enjoyable. But casual conversations like this is what makes society function better, and this is how we see people react to it.
You know, I don't like people, man. I'm starting to really dislike people, man. I hate when I go into a store and people look at you and they say, "How you doing?" Bro, you don't give a damn how I'm doing today, man. Why are you even speaking to me?
What is wrong with humanity that so many people need to be acknowledged? I don't need you to say hi when you walk past me. I don't want your awkward smile. We can just exist in our own spheres. I don't understand how it's rude if I don't acknowledge the existence of the other people around me. What does my acknowledgement mean to you?
Now, I completely understand social anxiety is a thing. Trust me, if one person was to understand, it's me. So while you don't have to smile and shake every stranger's hand, I think what a lot of people are missing nowadays are the simple social graces that make being around each other feel less awkward.
Why are people so rude nowadays? People are so rude. I've been trying to put more effort into like saying hi to strangers, like making eye contact with them. Most of them, if they make eye contact with me, their face gets like angry.
You're run into someone's path, or you're saying excuse me or sorry, or you're saying hi, hello on a bike path, and people just blank face you like this. Who does that?
And these could be things that people barely even notice or think are rude. And yeah, it's very small instances, like accidentally bumping into somebody and saying sorry, holding the door a little longer for the person walking behind you so it doesn't hit them on the way out, accepting something you don't even want just to be polite to the person handing it to you.
Might be an unpopular opinion, but if I'm at a birthday party and we just get done singing happy birthday and that person is going around trying to hand out cake, and would you like a slice? Would you like a slice? Yeah, I will take a slice of that cake, even if I don't like the flavor, because you look around at adults nowadays and people are, they look like this. Would you like some cake? And they're like, no. They look like disgusted, right? And it's just rude.
This sounds illogical. Why would I accept food when I don't even want it? I know in theory it doesn't sound rude, but it goes right back to the past tense when people had to control their emotions to accommodate others. It's just the principle and not being rude to other people because of your preferences, even if your preference is ignoring the person right in front of you. There's a growing amount of people that see the open space of the world as only their space.
Behind you. Coming around, sorry. Sorry, you're good.
On your right. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yep, no worries.
get caught there.
We get it. This is your world. We're just living in it. But how inconsiderate do you have to be to work out in front of a staircase where people are obviously going to walk? And then on top of that, you're so oblivious to people literally dodging your punches.
Why is it that you feel like you can take the whole public space away and then wear headphones so that people can't speak to you when they're trying to get past you? And it just creates this awkward back and forth that could have been avoided if you can hear or at least position yourself so that you can see everything that's happening around you. This is a small staircase and she's taking up the whole public space. She got her back turned against the world and now people have to try to maneuver around her so that they don't get punched in the face.
It makes us realize how crucial spatial awareness was in the past because it trained society to actually look at others and work around them. Remember earlier when we discussed the flow of the sidewalk, getting from point A to B, and how to be polite about it? That seems so small, but it's crucial and honestly the epitome of how public manners are dying. Because if we can't share a basic sidewalk, how are we supposed to share the whole world?
No, it is way too cold for us to be taking up the entire sidewalk like this. Come on, we got, no, I got places to be. It's freezing, I can't feel my face. We gotta go.
Nevertheless, sidewalk etiquette is an unspoken code of conduct that most people understand, and I say most with not a lot of confidence, but it's only going downhill from there because in a space where there's an actual code of conduct, people are now taking that exact same entitlement into them, and it's not going over well.
Took my daughter to go see The Little Mermaid in Orlando, and this happened.
Oh, I need a refund on my ticket. No, we getting a refund because
The movie theater has one main unwritten rule: sit down and be quiet for max 2 hours. And for a long time, that was the basic rule everyone knew to follow. Before the movie, they'd show a quick clip that warned you, keep your mouth shut, cell phones off. But not every situation comes with clear rules. You just have to get a feel. And when it comes to laughing out loud, there are no rules saying you can't. But when the laughing out loud in question is just you going out of your way to disturb everybody in the room, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yelling at the movie theater because people trying to laugh louder than us.
The standards people used to have in movie theaters seem a lot lower now. And depending on who you ask, the reason why is pretty obvious. A lot of people are blaming the pandemic for the circumstances. Maybe being at home watching a movie and still having the option to scroll on your phone made it so that a lot of people just adapted to this in a place where they shouldn't.
Culturally, the world has changed.
Most people still get it.
Yes.
There are people, and there is an age factor, but it's also just the comfortability.
Agreed.
There is this idea of like, I do what I want. And it's like, yes. But you go to a place where we're all like going to do a thing.
But there's no thought about others.
No.
The growing conversation of people talking, screaming, just doing a lot in movie theaters is very hard to ignore, especially when the entire experience depends on everyone else cooperating. Some people blame it on teenagers, and yes, the younger generation definitely does have their part in this.
Tonight, I had the worst theater experience of my entire life, and like once I saw the age demographic, the amount of people that already had their phones out, the fact that like half of them brought blankets, like I knew it was gonna be not silent. Talking, laughing, vaping, coughing.
I do not want teenagers in the movie theaters. They won't stop talking.
But I truly think the conversation is about the expectation and the cooperation that we stopped having for each other. People just don't care about other people anymore to care how they'll feel. They mainly care about what they're doing and how it makes them feel. And you're in the wrong if you actually want peace.
The amount of comments I've gotten saying that I should be watching a movie at home instead of in theaters because I don't want to listen to people talk during a movie it's baffling. Because isn't the number one rule of movie theaters to be silent? But I should be the one who has to watch it at home. because I don't want to listen to other people talk.
And a lot of people talk at the screen while they're watching a movie. I do too. But I don't think they realize how rude it is to do it in a theater full of other people. The thing that made those living room habits so easy to bring into the theater, we could say, are the phones. It seems like our phones make it easier to forget where we are. Because even the one place where the rules should be enforced the most, it's actually being encouraged.
There is a movie theater chain that is now encouraging people to go on their phones during the movie, and I feel like I live in Crazy Town. The Alamo Drafthouse is known for two things. First, full service meals, and two, no talking and texting. You would write down what you wanted on a card, push a button, the waiter would come, pick up the card, and then bring you your food. They are getting rid of that service and now having people order everything online before and during the movie. If someone is texting, scrolling Instagram, or putting on an online order, they're still on their phones.
Yeah, that movie theater is just letting people order food on their phones now, but it's those small changes that over time teach people they no longer have to adjust themselves to the space they're in. But eventually, that starts to create tension between the other people in society just trying to enjoy their surroundings.
I need a security over here now. Because these ladies and this whole session's gonna vouch for it. You wanna make a scene? I'm gonna make a scene.
Who in their right mind thinks it's okay to sing along during a Broadway performance? And you just know everyone around that guy is so happy he spoke up, because everybody in that section wanted to say something.
They're calling it the Broadway crash out because he was quite literally crashing out over something most people thought was common sense. You could disagree with his approach, you could call his course of actions wrong, but this is what happens when people choose their own comfort and enjoyment over the entire auditorium just trying to enjoy the show too. Now, imagine what happens when you try to incorporate public etiquette into a space where people are encouraged to let loose. It doesn't end well. Now, I wanted to save this space's lack of etiquette for last, because honestly, if there's any place people think the rules shouldn't apply, it's at a concert. Concerts are a space where people can let loose, enjoy music, and see their favorite artists perform. You don't have to sit down or stay quiet. You can be on your phone. There's not much etiquette to it. There's just one thing. Concert etiquette might be a bit looser, but it's not non-existent. We get it. You're enjoying the music. You want to sing. Who said singing was off limits at a concert? No one, ever. But then they start singing louder than the artist. And as they start singing louder than the artist, of course, it's not singing anymore. It then turns to shrieking. And there is a huge difference between singing and shrieking.
I had to plead with these 14-year-old girls to stop shrieking at the top of their lungs. My ears were ringing. I was like, guys, please. Like, you can sing as much as you want, but the literal shrieking is insane.
Respecting the crowd is one thing, though. The performer, on the other hand, is a whole different conversation. And with how parasocial many people can get when it comes to a celebrity, a lot of fans want the moment to feel personal, even though they're sharing it with thousands of other people. Thankfully, they have barriers and barricades, maybe a higher platform, and all the audience has to do is enjoy the music and the performance. But no, they want to take it a step further. Throwing items at performers on stage is becoming a huge issue, and even though concerts are seen as a place to let loose, there's still some sort of etiquette within it. There's still a level of respect that you have to show for the room and the person on stage. Yes, you brought your ticket, you probably paid hundreds of dollars to be there, but you still owe everyone common courtesy. And even the celebrities are asking for the same thing everyone else is asking for. A little bit of consideration.
Go home. I swear to God I will. Don't throw shit else on this motherfucking stage. Okay? I don't know whose phone this is. I don't plan on handing it back. I don't plan on looking for you. I don't want to know. Anything else come up on this stage? Me and my band getting off and going home. That's disrespectful. Okay? Thank you.
Holy shit, you see what I'm saying, bro? Damn. Yeah, I'm good. That was a lighter. Oh my god, who threw that? Stop throwing shit. That shit got hit in the face.
At the end of the day, public etiquette has a lot more to it than handshakes and saying please and thank you. It's really just about making sure we can all coexist in the same place without making it harder for each other. And yes, protecting your peace is everything because not everybody deserves your kindness. But having a little bit of consideration can make the world spin a little bit smoother. Thank you for tuning into the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever classy people like you do before heading to the next video. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.